Paimons, wait, what?
Okay, here's the thing. If voice actors, both non-union and union, in a video...
It's funny because of the voice, right? It's really funny. Like, it's actually so funny.
Okay, here's the thing. If voice actors, both non-union and union, in a video game want a game to go union, the game should go union. Nobody else's opinion matters.
Well, what about the people who are making the game that pay you the money? I feel like their opinion kind of matters, right? Because, like, if you... The thing is, like, so if they're paying you money, then their opinion matters. It's crazy how fast, like, they're going to get replaced with AI real quick. Like, this is about to be like, yo, you're going to have Chat GPT by the time that they bring out the next Archon and Genshin. That's what's going to happen.
That's it.
That's it.
And YouTubers don't know anything. YouTubers don't know anything. They're not voice actors. They've never been in my industry. They don't know what my industry is about. They don't know anything about SAG. They don't know anything about being a non-union actor either.
And we don't care. You're right about all those points. It doesn't matter. What matters is the end customer. Why would a YouTuber care about, like, what it's like being a voice actor? Like, people that do YouTube videos about a game, these are consumers. These are end consumers. Why would a consumer care about... Basically, this is a big issue that a lot of artists have, is that artists place a lot of value into the process of art, but the end user usually does not. So this is a big problem that a lot of these people have, is that they're unable to empathize with the thinking of the people that they're trying to sell a product to, excuse me. And so, like, if you have people that you can't think like them and you're trying to sell them a product, well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a bad time. You're going to have a really bad time. And so that's really what the issue is. So we don't need to know what it's like.
Stop telling me to go to liars.
Liars.
Liars. They are paid to lie to you.
Who's paid?
Also, I'm sorry. They have more incentive to lie. They have more of an incentive to lie because idiots like you fall for their shit and they get paid for that. Hello?
No, see, you just don't, like, she just don't get it, bro. Like, she don't get it. People understand your point of view, they just don't care about it. It's not complicated. You want more money. You want more money, you want protections for your job. That's really what it's going to narrow down to, right? Like, these two things is what it's going to come down to. You really think that nobody can figure this out?
I want my industry to actually, like, I don't know, function, and that everybody gets paid and everybody gets, like, healthcare.
Why would a customer want you to get paid more money? Because usually if there are wage increases, the end user could end up paying more money. The big problem that a lot of these people in these Hollywood industries and Hollywood unions have is that they think that there is any sort of solidarity and understanding that the average person has about a person in entertainment not getting paid enough money. The reality is that entertainment is seen as a luxury industry, and that's the reason why when a streamer complains about their job, everybody gets mad at them. And it's because people think working in entertainment is really easy, and it's effortless, and it's just, like, dumb. So whether you think that's true or not, I don't need to debate that with you because it doesn't matter what you think. What matters is what the audience thinks. And if the audience thinks that, then that's what it is. And there's just people just don't, like, there's a lot of people like this, and that they're so intellectually and emotionally captured by their thinking that it prevents them from seeing the point of view of anybody else. And if they do see the point of view of somebody else, they are unwilling to compromise with this person at all, and they just tell the person that they're wrong and they shouldn't think that way. That's not the way it works. And so, like, you tell, and this is the way it is, like, you know, for example, actors crying in COVID, people are like, well, and I bet being an actor during COVID was stressful. I bet it was. But, like, nobody has any sympathy for people that work in the entertainment industry, and that's pretty much a period at the end of that. Maybe it shouldn't be like that, but it do.
You know, then some non-union actors will have to join the union. Yeah, they'll be able to, easily, because they'll get paid more. Also, there are options that the union has to help pay for those things. There are options to help people pay for the union dues within SAG, but you don't know that. Oh my God, it's almost like you're not an actor. It's almost like you're not a voice actor.
Well, you're not a... Yeah, exactly. They're not. So why would they care about what you think? Like, they're going to side with the company. They don't care about how... People don't care about how things are made. They care about what it is. Well, and so if the product is a problem, they're going to look at you as the one that's the problem. It's so fucking entitled. Well, it's... The thing is, like, I support unions and everything like this, but what I don't support is, like, this, like, weird thing where these people, like, they don't even understand or try to look at it from the point of view of somebody that disagrees with them or doesn't really care. And I think this is a big problem.
And neither are these YouTubers. But bottom line is that both non-union actors and union actors in a video game want it to go union and have wanted it to go union for a long time.
Yeah.
So nobody else's opinion that is super fucking wrong anyway matters. Hope this helps.
Is that it? Okay, that's it. So here's what's going to happen is that you're going to get replaced with AI and you're going to have to, I don't know, like do DoorDash or something. That's what's going to happen to you. And the reason why it's going to happen is because you are disagreeable, annoying, and you're asking for something that you think that you're entitled to that you're not. You're not entitled to always having this company do whatever you want. You're not entitled to making the customer base of the game agree with you and making an appeal to your authority on it. As if these people that you're talking to have no similar experience. Do you think that people don't understand like what a union is? People don't understand this? Like, yeah, I'm sure some people don't, but I think the majority of people, especially, you know, average like adults, understand what a union is. And so all these people that are getting mad about this on Genshin Impact, like they really wilding out about this too. Like it's crazy. Genshin VA gaming game sign interim is the best outcome for all actor. Are publicly saying that you're okay with putting non-union voice actors in a bad situation if game companies sign the interim. What game companies need to do, like if I was Hoyoverse, this is what I would be doing. I would be thinking about how can I get AI in my games as fast as possible that consumers don't care about and it has the same level of quality so I can stop paying these psychotic freaks that are sitting around on Twitter trying to fuck up my product. That's what I would be doing. I think these people don't understand, like, we need to get the Genshin community banned from... Gee, they're trying to get the community banned? So they're going to call them stupid, get them banned, complain that they're not getting enough money, and then be surprised whenever the customers don't like, they're not on your side? What? What are you doing? See, like, there's always Genshin drama, and like, I usually, the day that it happens, I usually don't pay attention to it, because it's usually like, oh, what, some like mentally ill middle school girl came up with some problem that nobody has? But like this seems like there's a lot of adults that are just acting like mentally ill middle school girls. And so we're going to take a look and investigate into this topic, right? This is crazy. It's easy to talk like that about people who's the ones that jobs at risk are crazy. What about the actual majority of normal people, decent, hardworking men and women? I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm the most empathetic and I'm the most pro-worker person that there is. But being pro-worker doesn't mean you're pro-retard. Telling it to people the way it is not being an asshole. It's being kind. Coddling, obfuscating, and using a bunch of euphemisms to disguise a reality that everybody knows is coming does nobody any benefits other than you for making yourself feel like you're a good person. You're not a good person, not you particularly, I'm saying in general. You're not a good person for lying to somebody, feeding them a false reality, and then when they have to reap the consequences of that false reality being shattered, you're nowhere to be found. You're on to the next cause. You're virtue signaling to the next thing. And meanwhile, they don't have any fucking money. So when I tell it to people and I say this is the way it is, I'm doing it for their benefit. And I'm the only one that thinks like this. Because everybody else doesn't. They're too worried about being seen in the right way. It's patting yourself on the back. Yeah, exactly. And the only person who should be patting himself on the back is me, which is what makes sense.
Updates to go over regarding this ongoing situation with a number of SAG-AFTRA voice actors.
I don't even do that.
And how they've been getting a ton of backlash from the internet at large, but especially the Genshin Impact community, who has done a great job of exposing these people. This is now like the 4th video I've made on this topic, the last 3 all around 15 to 19 minutes long or so. And at this point in time, there's just way too much to recap here in the intro without being like extremely long-winded and redundant. So hopefully you are in the loop with what's been going on.
Yeah,
but if you don't know about any of this stuff, please consider watching my prior videos. And or you can even just go to like the Genshin Impact subreddit, look at the top posts from the last week, and scrolling through that, you should see plenty of information, although some of those posts were apparently getting mass reported by the defenders of these corrupt VAs to try and get the information taken down and censored.
What a surprise.
It does seem like since then, some of those posts have actually been reinstated by the Genshin Impact moderators, though, but just know that's been an ongoing issue, too.
Wow.
All right, so
that's
thanks for your patience. Now, on to the new stuff.
Okay.
We're going to start with something very amusing. I think you guys are going to find this hilarious. So I got this tag from Enthusiasm. Thank you for the tag. It says, "Hey, Hero, hey, check this out. Absolute cinema of failed damage control." And that takes us to a top post on our Genshin Impact from 14 hours ago titled, "A voice actor came on Reddit arguing why Jacob," that being Jacob Takanashi, the new VA for Kenichi / Mihoyo, were in the wrong. Mihoyo, of course, referring to like Hoyoverse, Genshin Impact, etc., etc. After having all their points refuted, they, the voice actor, deleted their entire account.
I love it. I love it. Oh,
it's even worse than that, though, because this person originally went to our Genshin Impact trying to do this damage control and it didn't work there. Everyone calling him out and exposing his lies. Then he went over to the Gacha Gaming subreddit and tried it there.
I said before about like these people, their worldview and their existence can only exist inside of a vacuum. They can only exist and succeed when everybody else who disagrees with them is silenced and nobody can speak out against it. They can only exist like it's like, you know, like how those there's like, you know, those white rhinos and those pandas whose dicks don't work, and so they're in an endangered species and they have to be on like a reservation and be protected. Well, this is kind of the same thing, because like these people they can't exist in the natural order of things, and so they have to be on their own little protected you know, species reservation.
Gaming community at large also exposed this person's lies.
I'm just saying,
people
that's
then
the way
claim
it
that
is.
they tracked down this VA's Blue Sky account,
truth.
saying that the whole Genshin Impact subreddit deserves to be banned.
that's the reservation.
And also reposting posts from other Blue Sky VAs that are essentially advocating for non-union VAs to get harassed. We'll get to all that. First, let's take it from the top. So
yeah, of course.
He makes this attempted damage control post filled with a bunch of misleading information and gaslighting.
Supporting $1 billion company not agreeing to do the bare minimum is wrong. You don't get to decide what's wrong and right. People do. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. They care about the multi-billion-dollar company. They care about the product. Like, you try to make this wrong and right argument like you're some kind of fucking hero. This isn't a Marvel movie. Get the fuck out of here. People just want to play a video game and not have to deal with some bullshit. Like, that's literally it. It's these people always self-aggrandize themselves like they're fighting against some kind of fucking, you know, like Thanos or something. It's so embarrassing. Like, what are you even thinking? Like, really, it's just pathetic, bro. Like, it's so pathetic.
Days that we already talked about here on the channel has been refuted over and over again. And so going right to the top responses to him, we can see comments like this. Why does every voice actor or SAG shill come here with, but did you know Taft-Hartley?
Yeah.
Do you think it'll magically solve all our concerns? Like, anyone who reads one single thread regarding VA drama in sub is aware of Taft-Hartley and how complicated it actually is, the 3-time limit in 90 days and so on. Yet they chime in thinking we know nothing about Taft-Hartley. How ignorant are they? Koi went dead silent when they asked about that. Funniest stuff ever. Not only that, his sign first, negotiate later comment, like, buddy, that's not how it works. You negotiate the terms first, so both parties know what they are signing and what is expected of each of them. Funny how they all say the exact same thing, almost like they received a guide telling them what to say in their posts.
Well, they probably
then
did.
Disappear when they're asked the problematic questions.
Yeah, they did.
They're 100% receiving their talking points from SAG-AFTRA. They always say, stop spreading misinformation, and this is for AI protection.
The average person doesn't care about AI voice acting. And I think I can prove that with Darth Vader. It's been AI for years. That's it. How about that, huh? He signed over his rights? I know.
But then don't elaborate when asked further questions or vague about it. Like, what? It's you guys spreading misinformation. They sound like freaking robots at this point, regurgitating the same spiel every time. The voice actor who made this post is probably reading this right now and getting people to report this post as we speak. Edit, Sean Laraway, the poster, changed his Blue Sky description to Genshin Impact is cringe because he's all mad.
Like, how do you think this is going to work? So you have a bunch of these like theater kids that are in like their enrage phase, and they're really having a moment. And you think that you're going to be in a good situation by telling the people that pay you money that their game is cringe? Are you retarded? Really? Like, what do you think you're doing? How do you be that stupid?
It always ends with them trashing on the game. This is childish. Yeah, another great example of this recently was Shara Kirby and her giant rant she made on Blue Sky. And so speaking of Blue Sky, let's hop over to the Blue Sky account linked in that Reddit post.
Oh, this is the reservation.
That's the VA who made that whole damage control
Endangered
thing over on
species.
Reddit. Here's the post I was mentioning earlier. He says, the
Bro, we got half the website to like his comment. Isn't that crazy? Damn, bro. Like, wow. So that subreddit needs to get banned because they disagree with you. People don't. Yeah, for sure, bro. Like, absolutely.
And then he's also reposting this Blue Sky post from another voice actor that reads, much like how a tolerant group must still be intolerant towards intolerance, a cornerstone of union culture is making sure that scabs, regardless of any sort of legal justifications for what they did, feel constant scorn, shame, and derision for willingly betraying their fellow workers. Piss off.
So what's the logic here that you can bully scabs, but customers can't bully you? What's the logic? Because you think that you're the one that's right? Well, isn't that convenient for you? But really, there's no logic. Yeah, there's no logic. This is not how it works. Like, it's crazy how I get... These people love to have acceptable targets. They love it. What's a scab? So a scab, this is like... So a scab is like when you're in a union and there are people that work through a workers' strike. Like, they still... Like, a strike is like where you don't go to work. Like, everybody collectively decides we're not going to work until you give us what we want. And a scab is a person who says, I'm still going to work. And they basically allow the company to continue existing and not have to meet the demands of the union. That's what a scab is.
Continues to rage and then reference Jacob Takanashi insulting the dude and basically trying to get people to harass him. But then you really had voice actors like Little Karibo and Kiba Walker the other day basically trying to say that, oh, no voice actors are trying to get you harassed, Jacob.
Wow, to say ball is in his court when 5 voice actors or so sent their rabid fan bases to attack him is actually crazy. Foreigners aren't expected to strike for something their labor laws already protect them from. Nobody sent fan bases to attack them. You realize that's what y'all are doing, right? Like, read the text straight up. No one said go attack him for doing this. Yeah, no, you are. If you post and you call somebody a scab, and then there's a whole culture around that, like, you're absolutely calling for somebody to get harassed. And, like, again, you want to call for somebody to get harassed, go ahead, do it. But, like, don't go and act like you're a victim. That's the problem. And you can see, like, this is clearly like like her getting mad. Your community is sending death threats and talking about people's dead relatives. How's that equivalent? It's just mad. I mean, look at this. 3,000 likes or 3,000 views. It's got 5 likes. 3,000 views. It's got 3.3. It's even got more. It's got 205. It's pretty obvious where the people stand on this, and it's certainly not with these people. See, this is the problem, right? Is they go and they attack somebody and they want to be able to harass and attack people that don't follow the rules that they've decided that everybody needs to follow for voice acting. And basically, like, now it's like, well, now people are calling us out for bullying, so now we're getting bullied. But isn't this weird, right? Is that you use the idea of the paradox of tolerance, that you can't tolerate the intolerant, but you never think that this is being reflected on you, where people are not tolerating your intolerance towards other people that don't want to agree with you. Like, isn't this the same paradox, but you're the ones who are the ones that were being intolerant? It's horseshit. No, you think about this. You think it out, and it don't make sense.
And so ultimately the VA, who made that our Genshin Impact post that completely flopped, that people are alleging is that Larway person, then ran over to the our Gacha Gaming subreddit to make basically the same post, trying the damage control there. But it turns out public reception is the same he got over on our Genshin Impact, with people calling out his nonsense, and top comments like, anytime a random VA appears to explain the so-called AI protection, quote-unquote, they completely disappear and refuse to say anything once you bring the issue of interim agreement that they want to force companies to sign. I wonder why. Edit, I woke up and he already deleted his account, as expected, lol. He went to the Genshin Impact subreddit, got all of his points refuted, deleted his account, then changed his Blue Sky description to Genshin Impact is cringe. Quick side note, I thought he went to Genshin Impact and then Gacha Gaming, but maybe it was the other way around. Either way, same outcome, you get the point.
And by the way, this is one thing, I just want to see this real quick, because this is a comment that somebody made. And I think that say somebody said Darth Vader isn't a good example. James Earl Jones is an iconic actor and people miss him as the actual voice, but 99% of voice actors, nobody knows or cares about who they are. I think you're making my point for me, actually, is that because none of these people actually have like any sort of like real identity other than like the characters that they're attached to, that's the reason why people aren't going to give a shit about them. So I actually think Darth Vader becomes a better example by that, is that if you can do this to like a very famous actor and people can all know that it's not this person, then what's the probability that you can do it to unknown actors that most people don't really know about that well, and it doesn't make a difference?
I'm pretty sure they receive talking points from SAG to gaslight us that joining them is for the greater good.
Of course.
Gee, that phrase sounds familiar, and it doesn't have any malicious undertones behind it. Anyways, because of them attacking Jacob and labeling him a scab, Genshin Impact players developed the legendary skill of literacy.
Wow.
And decided to do what they want, which is to do some research. Too bad what we were able to find when combing the agreement is malicious and sounds like they want to monopolize the entire EN dubbing space.
Of course they do. That's the thing. And they want to maintain control. And this is the problem that some unions have, is that, and I'm not going to talk about this in this particular circumstance, but I'll say in a general sense, is that average customers are generally on the side of unions. Like they're actually like more pro-union than not. But the issue is that when the unions are doing things that are detrimental for a game or for like an experience, that's whenever you have like the fans that push back on it, right? And so when you're asking for something that isn't in the best interest of the players for whatever reason, or it's not even in the best interest of the company, you're just trying to strong arm them, you lose that sympathy. And this is how unions can also be bad. Like, I'm more pro-union than anti-union, but that doesn't mean that I agree with everything that unions ever do.
And finally, going back to Sean Laraway's Blue Sky account, we can see the bio now reads, "We'll always pick on scabs." People are so brave, having a giant union like SAG-AFTRA backing them, and their whole clique, as they pick a single individual, Jacob Takanashi, to bully and harass. This is all going so poorly for the union voice actors that there's now top posts in our Genshin Impact like this one from just 1 hour ago, saying if half of the characters get recast, then so be it. I used to be for the VA strike, in that AI was the initial threat to their livelihoods. Now, as the truth unfolds, this whole strike is just a Trojan horse for Western companies to stick their grubby little hands into a piece of the pie. This outburst from specific VAs is no coincidence. They've probably been feeling this way for a while, and now that there is an outlet, they thought this would be a great chance to rally the troops. Well, now it has completely backfired, and the only thing to show is that some of these VAs are petty and completely unprofessional. Yeah, quick side note, that's something a lot of us have known for years about the Western VA industry,
Everybody knows
but it's
that.
good that more people are becoming aware of that, so continuing. Most VAs are considered lucky to work on a consistent project that is aimed to last for several years, and you're a recurring character. True. I'd say that Hoyo has waited long enough, and the gloves should come off.
I think that they should too. Like, if I was Hoyoverse, what I would do is I would just replace all these people with AI. I would find people that are like decent actors, and then just like kind of use them, and then use that voice as AI, and that'd be it. They waited for 6 months. Yeah, like, and also like, why wouldn't you do this? Like, this is clearly like a big problem that affects your product. I mean, if you're trying to make a good product and you're trying to deliver that product to a customer, aren't you going to try to go with the method that's the most stable, that doesn't have like the chance of popping off on Twitter? AI voice acting is dog shit? No, it's not. AI voice is not good enough yet? Yeah, well, when it will be, then, well, I mean, again, like, I think that's a good point. You're saying it's not good enough yet. Let's assume that it is. Let's assume it's not good enough. Let's just assume you're right. You want to lay the foundation to be able to use the AI in the future. That way you can transition over to that, and you don't have to worry about these people trying to strong arm you. That's just a smart thing to do if you're making a game like this. And I think that's what, like, if I was them, that's what I would do.
I would rather see Hoyo put their foot down and put a halt to the EN dubbing side, sort out the VAs that are still upholding their professionalism, and get rid of the rest. We don't need that toxicity here. It's already bad enough that the game gets enough of a divided reputation. Now the VAs are not helping. They need to go. It's all fun and games until EN players stop spending because the characters are inconsistently voiced. Now that we know what's really going on, it's safe to say they are already doing that. A top comment reading, do a power play. Realize you don't have any power.
That's the problem.
All of your VAs get recast. Video game companies will now hire non-union VAs to avoid you.
That's right.
It makes one wonder what the heck SAG-AFTRA was thinking about going against the $187 billion a year industry that can and will hire VAs from other countries.
And this is the other problem, is that this is a company that's not based around the West. Like, this is a Singaporean company that comes from China. You're not going to be able to bully them into doing things the same way that you can with an American company. because they have a totally different value system over there. They don't even understand what the you're saying. They don't care. So and this is what I said before. This is the part of the AI conversation that many people who are anti-AI refuse to acknowledge, is the fact that even if the United States bans AI, it doesn't stop companies overseas from using it. And to the extent that you have a free market and those AI products are comparable and better, people will choose those products because the end product is all that matters. And that's the issue that these people don't have. Yeah, we don't care. Just put the English dub's voice in the game. Exactly, right? And so they don't understand that the whole world is involved in the economy now. And so you can't like force Western contemporary AI artist ideals on a company that's in China. Like, they don't even know what you're saying, literally, because you're speaking in English.
Video game industry is not Hollywood.
That's just how it is.
Well, you know, the sad fact of the matter is a lot of the Genshin Impact community for a while was supporting these VAs and their agenda without questioning anything. Like, it was going well for them for a minute there.
But like the moment that you start demonizing the community, like nobody wants to be talked down to by a person who is being paid to make a character. And also like the characters in Genshin are all like nice and upbeat and funny. And so like when you have like your character from Genshin that's like this nice, super upbeat and funny person, and then you have them go and fucking do like this, like I swear to God, like, I mean, really, you look like a nutball. You being crazy.
Last 6 to 4 months or so where things began to start crumbling for them.
Not to mention
that's basically when the cracks started to appear as more and more people began to look into what was really going on. And then more recently with the harassment of Jacob Takanashi, that's what really caused everything to reach this boiling point, facilitating the overall community to turn against these union voice actors. And the last thing that we'll take a look at in this video is SAG-AFTRA themselves over on Twitter. The official account for SAG-AFTRA trying to publicly drum up some support as they reach out to Genshin Impact saying, what Aneris Q said. At Genshin Impact, at Honkai Star Rail, at ZZZ. We'll make it easy for you. Here's a link to our interactive/video game media agreements. Let's talk soon, a wink.
Nobody's gonna like this shit, bro. Like, it's some like weird ass fucking Twitter girl shit. Like, bro. How about no? Yeah, exactly. It's a ransom. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. And you should know that while Paimon's voice actor is spewing all that shit about scabs, she's still working and collecting money. Wow. Is it another? So you're telling me this is another example of a person who actually has no skin in the game, that has nothing to lose, that's just being openly angry and aggressive to other people who do? Wow. I think this might be the first time that's happened.
That we've seen so far. This also ended up going terribly for them as they got this community note added to it, which reads, this agreement has severe limitations on how MiHoYo can work with non-union voice actors, including a lifetime time limit for the voice actor and eventually forcing the voice actor to either join the union, which has large entry costs and fees, or stop working on the project.
This is the dark side of unions, and this is why people are anti-union, is stuff like this strong-arming.
Voice actress Aneris Q saying, hey Genshin Impact, at Honkai Star Rail, at ZZZEN, we English VAs would love to get back to work. I know the fans miss hearing their fave Karas, and we miss voicing them. Please negotiate with SAG-AFTRA and sign the interim agreement to guarantee AI protections for us. That message also getting the community note, which points out how, yeah, there's a lot more to all this than just the AI protections that these people seem to keep trying to manipulate the public sentiment with. And getting responses such as Madam Savvy saying, so how's the community note feel? And TKA Dem saying, don't they have to drop all non-union VAs when they sign the agreement? As well as this one from Jasper saying, what's your take on the VAs who bully and verbally assault other VAs? Aneris making this follow-up tweet that then says, there's way too many bad faith comments and misinfo.
It's just all fake. Everybody that's calling me out is lying and everything they're saying is fake.
But for now, please refer to this thread for correct information. I concur with everything stated, and linking to a thread by Koi Dao, which many people have also refuted and we've discussed in previous videos.
Right.
Which, by the way, this whole SAG-AFTRA tweet thing happened on March 26th, so I'm a bit late to covering this one, my apologies. And the last thing to take note of really quick is that despite some voice actors, like the really angry ones that we discussed earlier in the video, it seems like a lot of the VAs who've been publicly talking about this stuff have gone radio silent over the last 24 to 48 hours.
Because they know they're losing. That's the problem. They're losing the sentiment of the community. And the fact is that the sentiment of the community is the only thing that they can leverage. Because if the community doesn't care about them being replaced and recast, then the company will do it. So you have to maintain a positive relationship publicly with people. But the problem is that these voice actors, and this goes back to what I said before about people in entertainment don't realize that the majority of the average population views the entertainment industry as a luxury industry. So when you're complaining about things in the entertainment industry and you're talking to somebody that works in an auto company, or somebody that works at an insurance company, or, you know, a construction worker, I mean, probably not very many of those play Genshin, but I'm sure some do. They're not going to have the same level of sympathy that you think they will. That's the problem they don't get. Yeah, put the fries in the bag. That's what it comes down to, doesn't it? Yeah, it's no coincidence that Trump made those day one executive orders to open the U.S. to AI. You can't compete against the global push for AI. This is happening everywhere, and the voice actors are only one frontier losing the war. Yeah, and it's just disappointing that they're too, I don't know, like naive to not see that. And like, I feel bad for them. It sucks that this is happening, but it's happening to everybody, and you're not the first person it's happened to. It happened to people with automation in auto, in like, look at Detroit. Detroit used to be one of the biggest and most like wealthy cities in the world, and now it's a PvP server. Why is that? Well, it's precisely for the same reason. It's because of technology replacing jobs, and that's what's going to keep happening more and more and more.
It's rather interesting.
That's it.
Perhaps they're trying to come up with their next line of rhetoric or something. Or maybe it's just coincidence that they all began to go radio silent at the same time, all dealing with the loss of goodwill in their own ways. Who knows for sure? Yeah, let me know what you think about all this stuff in the comments. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed my coverage. And if you did, please consider liking and or subscribing to the channel. Have a great week ahead, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's so crazy for me to see them do this, because they're totally own goaling themselves. They are, and this is really bad. And anyway, companies moved out of the U.S. because we started raising the price of living and inflation. Wages didn't keep up. Well, also, I mean, like, here's the thing, is that any type of technology, like if you look back historically, there has never been a time where the people who refused to use and utilize technology were seen as the ones that were not regressive and silly. So that's really the big problem that I think a lot of these people have, is that they have no historical frame of reference to look at things from the perspective outside of their own best interests. And that's what's happening a lot. Because being empathetic to people is, you don't want me to be empathetic. Like, I am being empathetic. I'm telling them what they need to hear. I'm not a coddling type of guy, right? I mean, like, this is something like, you know, this is the way you treat a child. The fact is that, like, these are grown adults. These are adult men and adult women that you don't need to mince words with. You need to tell them the truth, and you need to be direct with them in an honest way and make them understand the situation that they're in. And if you need to be coddled like a child, then I think that's your problem and not mine. I think the way I'm talking about this is extremely fair. And I think also what's going to happen is that in the long run, I'm going to be right. And I don't think anybody's really even disputing that. And that's the problem, is that a lot of people complain about the way that I talk about this, but they never complain about what I'm saying because they know it's true. And this is also another big issue, is that they completely disrespect their fan base, and they patronize their fan base by talking to people like this and acting like that, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, etc. And you can see, right, these are the comments on this. Do not engage in personal attacks, as tempting as it may be. Hey, that's respectable. If you close your eyes and really imagine it, it does sound like Paimon crashing out. I don't know if it does or not, but stop posting Among Us. Not gonna lie, this might maybe switch to JP voices permanently. I don't even know. It's not the first time they've crashed out, and it probably won't be the last. It's closer to the last than it is the first, because eventually they're gonna get replaced by AI, and they're gonna have to go do DoorDash. That's what's gonna happen. Weird that out of nowhere this video has been AI. This video has AI. It's weird that nowhere in this video has AI been mentioned. It's all about strong-arming Genshin Impact to become more union than anything else. Yeah, that's exactly it. She frequently screams about people stealing work when actors are striking, but actively won't go on strike herself because she has bills to pay. Oh, what a roach. Oh, where do these roaches come from, bro? Like, damn, what's going on here? Wow, what are the odds? But anyway, yeah, this is crazy for me to see. I didn't know it was getting this big. Yeah, I had no idea it was popping off this much at all.